Hello again. So today we'll be looking at His Hand in Mine, Elvis's fifth studio album, released in November 1960. The first of his three gospel albums. So we'll start with the UK. So here's the first mono release. And the disc is the large silver RCA spot. And the stereo release. It's a beautiful album cover. The large silver spot living stereo. I saw one reviewer said that this isn't just Elvis's finest gospel album, it's one of the finest gospel albums ever recorded, and it's hard to argue. So here we have the second mono release. And this is the red spot. I've never come across a stereo red spot. I don't know if it exists. I do wonder if my old theory is correct, that after the first pressings they sold plenty of the mono version, not so many of the stereo. Probably not many people had converted over, so they had plenty of stereo silver spots left. That's my theory. So this is the I believe 1971 repress on the orange label. And I think this is the first one that I bought, orange. Then we have RCA International. I wish they would get the picture just right, not cut the top of his head off. And International is the green label. It's funny, there was a time when I remember people that I knew sort of looked down a bit on the International green label, some sort of cheap label, preferring the originals. Now people are collecting the International ones, and there was nothing wrong with them. There we have the correct picture without cutting the top of his head off. 50th anniversary. It's still International. The black label. And then back to this. Not exactly sure when this was. I know it would be easy to look up, but I haven't. The blue label. This was one of the more difficult ones for me to find. It took quite a while. The only American pressing I have is the later one. I would love the original mono and stereo pressings, but just never come across them. I'll probably have to import them. Not a very good back cover to that. That was on the orange label. And now we come up to some recent represses. So again, the cover looks great. And this is DOL. And we have a nice blue vinyl. This was the most recent one that I've bought. Wax Time in colour. And this is a chocolate brown label, vinyl, sorry. I did notice they added some bonus tracks. Crying in the Chapel, When the Saints Go Marching In, I Ask the Lord, and Don't. A decision worthy of RCA. There were other tracks they could have put on there that would have worked, but they chose Don't. Great song, but what's it doing on a gospel album? And then this recent odd one of a series of albums put out by Dom Disc. Now there are others which are just compilations, but this one they've put his Hand in Mine album out. Not keen on the cover. It almost doesn't look like Elvis, if you see what I mean. There's just something not quite right. And a particularly chunky piece of vinyl. That feels really solid. And the only other one I've got, which I didn't think to get down, if I can spot it, is the FTD, which I still haven't got round to opening. Not because I don't open them, I just haven't done it. But I will. CD. Again, this one's got a few added tracks. It's No Secret, You'll Never Walk Alone, Who Am I? You can't argue with those. And of course the ultimate for anybody that enjoys this album is the FTD box of the Sessions, which again is a really great product. It's an album I really enjoy. I wouldn't call myself a religious person. I'm not. I always say I'm not religious, I'm Church of England, so anyone that knows anything about the Church of England will probably laugh, hopefully. I'm also a big admirer of Bob Dylan, for me the greatest songwriter that's ever lived. And he of course went through his own religious conversion, which resulted in two religious albums and one semi-religious. Remarkable songs, and they brought out some fantastic performances by him. At the time he was heavily criticised, and it's only been over the years that the critics have come to realise what a remarkable set of albums these were. And when I listened to him, I just know Elvis would have loved these albums, and I'm sure he would have wanted to record. It may have resulted in a fourth gospel album, recording some of Dylan's songs. The albums were Slow Train Coming, Saved, and Shot of Love. So if you've heard any of these, whenever I hear Dylan sing, I just hear Elvis singing them. Songs like When He Returns, or I Believe in You, Every Grain of Sand. I think Elvis would have loved these songs. So it's great sadness that he never got to hear them, and we never got to hear him perform them. Anybody that's interested in Dylan's work, for the gospel period, Trouble No More, big box set. If you don't know anything about him, throughout his career he wrote and recorded many, many more songs than he would actually use, and quite often he left the best song on the album off. And he recorded many of his well-known songs in different versions. That's why this is volume 13 of the bootleg series. So I really would have liked to hear Elvis sing those. Of course there is the story that George Harrison, Bob Dylan and Elvis agreed to meet up in a studio, but various things happened and it never took place. So those are my copies of his Hand in Mine. There are of course many I don't have. The two American ones are the ones I would most like to get. There's an Australian, a South African, French, various ones that I will over time hopefully add to the collection. What I will be doing next I don't know. Hopefully, I keep saying this, but hopefully I'll have a bit more time. My second book went off for a test print, so hopefully I can do these a bit more regularly. Till next time, bye for now.